Hello and welcome to Cutlery Cavern. Today the knife I want to talk about are these Japanese hobo knives that you see on eBay all the time. Um, and the reason I want to talk about them is because there's a lot of misconceptions about them, and I think people need to know about them so that they're not taken for a fool when they're buying them on eBay. Um, the reason these knives are called hobo knives is because they have a fork on one side and a spoon on the other side. Um, About the quality of these knives, I would say it's okay at best. Uh, this one measures in at about 4.5 inches long, which is the larger ones that you have being made. They also have some that come in at around 3.5 inches long. Uh, the ones that are 3.5 inches long are going to have much smaller tools on them. Uh, this particular one has a full-size fork on it, which is really helpful for eating, and it also has a spoon about the size of your typical tablespoon that you find in your house. So it's a big spoon, which is also very helpful. If you notice, however, it does not come apart. So you either have to use the spoon or the fork, which is a problem. So you have to basically use one implement at a time, which is enough to drive you crazy. So if you're actually looking at trying to get one of these to use, and you want something that takes apart, do not buy one of these because it's not going to help. The other tools in between the knife, you have a clip blade. I believe the steel is either 420 or 440. I have no clue because of when they were made. All I do know is that it's a decent enough blade for what it is, and it is stainless steel. And the other item I have on here are a pair of scissors. And the pair of scissors work pretty well, but the fit isn't the world's greatest, so you have to kind of push it down in there. And the other blade on here is the can opener and the cap lifter. And this is one of the clues that lets you know when this knife was actually made. This type of can opener did not come out until the 1950s, and this actual knife probably dates from the 1960s or 1970s. So if someone is telling you that this is a World War II Japanese fighting knife, that was issued to Imperial troops or something like that, they're full of malarkey. These knives were made in the 1960s and 70s. Now, maybe some Japanese soldiers used these knives back in the 60s and 70s, but they did not use them during World War II. The knife just is not that old. So regardless of what anyone says, you can ignore that part. And if you notice, fit and finish is not the world's greatest. I will tell you that the corkscrew on here is a nice solid corkscrew. The punch blade also well made and quite good. It's a nice diamond shaped punch, and it is really solid. And in between those two, I also have a file with a little screwdriver tip, and the file is pretty decent, so you can use it for striking matches and stuff. So all in all, that's what the knife has on it. They also will sometimes have a fish scaling blade on it, and maybe even a small secondary blade for like a pen blade or something like that on them also. Depending on how big the knife is and how many other implements they throw in there, the price may go up a little bit. But quite frankly, these knives are worth about $9 to $10. I wouldn't spend a whole lot more than that, regardless of what shape they're in, simply because they are so common. And the build of them is not what you would call great. The scales on the side, they kind of look like stag. They may be bone, but actually what they are is basically a composition type material, so it's some kind of plastic, I believe. I don't think it's really bone. I don't think it's and I know it's not stag, regardless of what anyone says. So you got plastic scales on them that look kind of decent, and stainless steel bolsters, and if you notice, you can actually see the pin going through them. Nothing fancy. The bail, when I bought this one, was all bent out of shape, but I just straightened it out because it's just a basic wire bail, nothing fancy about it either. So quality of the build is just average at best. And the overall price tag, like I said, I wouldn't spend more than $9 or $10 for it. And if you're looking for something that comes apart, this is not the knife for you to grab. I bought this simply because I collect hobo knives and I collect scout knives. If I were looking for something that I was actually going to use, I would go ahead and grab this one, which was sold in Walmart for $4, and it also has a full-size fork and a full-size spoon. And unlike the other one, this comes apart so I can actually eat with the fork and spoon at the same time. So, and this one only costs about $4 at Walmart. So, and quality wise, the Walmart knife is probably just as good as this one, if not maybe a little better, simply because it's newer. So there you have it. If you're looking for something to use when you're camping, I would not choose this one. It's way too heavy to carry. But if you're just looking for something to round out your hobo knife collection, I would say, yeah, go ahead and buy one, because you probably need one just to have it in your hobo collection. But again, $8, $9, maybe 10 tops, depending on how good the quality is of the knife. Be patient if you're looking at them on eBay. They're there all the time, and you can always snag them for a low price if you just wait. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you again soon.